Welcome to Module 1, Lesson 28, Solving Percent Problems. After today's lesson, I would like you to be able to find the percent of a quantity and solve problems involving the whole when given a part and the percent. Alright, so in example 1, we have an item that's discounted 20%. We want to know then the sale price is what percent of the original price. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw you a picture here so you can kind of take a look at what we're talking about. So if I have my tape diagram, and actually let me make a different shape here so it's not colored in. So when we make our tape diagram, that tape diagram we said represents 100%, which is the whole. And the whole in this case is the original price. So the whole thing, this whole box, is the original price. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to highlight that in yellow. So this whole thing is the original price. Now I have the discount, which is 20%. So of the whole price, the discount is 20% of it. So out of this whole box, the discount is this much. So the discount is a part of the original price. So if the original price and the discount are in here, we have to figure out what does this last piece represent. This last piece right here, so if you take the discount, if you find the discount, we usually subtract it from the original price. And when we do that, we find the sale price. So if I take the original price and I subtract the discount, I get the sale price, or my new price. So I get what I'm going to pay for the item. Well, here I'm taking the original price and I'm taking the discount away. So this is like a whole separate piece here. And then this leftover part, well, when we subtract, isn't this what we get, the difference, isn't that our leftover? So if that's our leftover, then I know that this piece right here has to be my sale price. Because if I take my sale price plus my discount, it should give me my original price. So then this right here has to be the sale price. Notice we didn't take anything away, we didn't add from it, we just split it up into parts. So if I find the discount, whatever is left over is the sale price. And if I put the discount and the sale price together, it should give me the original price. Now in this case, if we want to know what is the percent of the sale price. Well, if the discount is 20%, and I know the original price is 100%, then this leftover piece, I know percentage-wise, I would have to take that whole, that 100%, minus that 20% discount to find that the sale price is 80% of the original price. So 20% is the discount, leaving 80% left over to be the sale price. Okay, so then now, if the original price of the item is $400, what is the dollar amount of the discount? So we talked a lot before about being able to represent our answers and understand what the pieces mean. So in this case, the original price is 400. So if I make another tape diagram, I know the original price is $400. That's 100% of the cost. And I want the dollar amount of the discount. So in this case, and we're looking back up at the problem, in this case we have 20% as our discount and we want to know this. Well, we've talked about how we can break this up into different pieces and figure out our answer that way. But now what we're going to do is we're going to look at how can we do this. So I need to be able to model my answer this way, and then I can use multiplication and our ratios to help us find it just using math. So in this case, I know that 20% is equal to 20 out of 100. And I know that it has to be whatever 20%, so 20% out of 100 means 20 out of 100. That has to be equal to something but out of 400. So what this means is out of every 100, I'm taking out 20. So it should be fair or even. So when I have 400, it should still be equivalent to this 20%. So what I'm doing here is I'm turning my 20% into a fraction, and then I'm going to simplify it. So I know this will be equal to 2 over 10. Well, I know that I want 20% of 400. Since I want 20% of 400, we know that of means to multiply. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that percent into a fraction, and then I'm going to multiply it by 400. To do that, I put my 400 over 1. 2 times 400 is 800. 10 times 1 is 10. Then I have to do some simplifying here. I know that 800 divided by 10, well, cancel out the zeros, is equal to 80 over 1, which is equal to 80. So I know that 20% of 400 is equal to $80. Up here, I found out that if I take my original minus my discount percentage-wise, it gives me the sale price as a percent. This would then be the same, so now I know that this chunk right here is equal to $80. So this $80 plus whatever this is, my sale price, should give me 400. So I know my discount plus my sale price should equal the original price. So let's plug in our numbers. I know that 80 plus something should give me 400. Well, when I'm trying to find that answer, just like we did before, I know that if I take 100% minus 20%, it should give me that missing piece. So the same, and on the same thought process, if I have my original price, which was 400, and I subtract what I know, which was 80, it should give me what's left over, which should be the sale price. So I take my original price minus my sale price, or minus my discount. 10 minus 8 is 2, 3. So my new price is $320. Notice all of these pieces work together. So the original price is the whole thing. It's the whole picture. And then when you find the discount, you're just finding a part of that picture. After you find a part of that picture, you're able to find the rest of it using subtraction. So that 20% in this case represented $80, and that 80% represented $320. And when I put all that together, I got $400, which was the original price. Again, this is the most confusing part of percentages, is understanding that it's a part of your original. So you're finding different pieces of your original, and it's always changing because our original can change. All right, so then here we have exercise 1. And we have all these items that were bought on sale, and we need to fill out the missing information. So we have the television, and we have the sale price, which was $800, and we know we saved 20%. Okay, so I know that we're just going to start to use the formula to answer this, but I want you to understand what we're doing, so I'm going to show you a picture and kind of what we're working with here, because now we know the sale price and the percent saved. So if you take a look at your picture, we know the percent saved was 20%. And in that case, that was the discount. Now, 800 was not the discount. 800 was the sale price. So I know that the sale price is this piece right here, which is equal to $800. And I want to be able to find the original price. So I'm looking for the original price, the amount of the discount, and this would then be in dollars, and then the percent paid. So here, let's make life easy on ourselves and let's figure out that percent paid. Well, I know that we didn't pay 100% because we only paid from here to here. Since I saved 20%, I take that 100% minus 20%, to figure out that what was left was 80%. Since I paid $800, that $800 has to be equal to 80%. So my percent paid is 80%. So again, this piece right here is equal to 80%. So 80% is equal to $800. Alright, so now I'm going to look for the amount of the discount and the original price. Well, in order to find the original price, I have to take my sale price plus my discount. In this case, I don't know my discount, so why don't we start looking for that first? So I know that 80% is equal to 800. So what I can do here is I can see that if 80% is equal to 800, I know that 80 divided by 4 gives me 20. So if I do the same thing, so if I take my percent and divide it by 4, it gives me 20. So then I know that if I take my sale price and divide it by 4, it should also give me my discounted price because they're proportional. 80 divided by 4, or 800 divided by 4, so 4 goes into 8 2 times. Add the 2 zeros. So my sale, or my discount was $200. Now, I could also go through, it's the wrong way, I can also go through and see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 20, so 40, 60, 80. And then again, I did that $800 divided by these 4 groups is equal to 200. So each group is worth $200. So then I know that that first group also had to be equal to $200. Now I need to find my original price. Well, if my discount was 200, I should be able to add that to my sale price, which was 800, to find my original price of 1,000. So here again, you're going to have to model to prove that your answer is correct, but mathematically, if you could just do 800 divided by 4, absolutely in the real world that is what we would do. But we need you to understand what's going on here and how this is working and why you can do this, and that's why we use the models. Okay. Another way that we could look at this mathematically is to say that we have 20% as the discount. Since I know 20% was the discount, 80% had to be the sale price. So then I know that 80% as a fraction is 80 out of 100, and that has to be equal to, now this is where it's different, something, but it's 800 out of that something. So I don't know the original price in this case. So that's where things get tricky, is when we don't know that original price. Okay, and when you don't know that original price, that's where we can start to look at using a different operation. So if I have 800, what I can do is, if I know how to use cross multiplication and divide, I can do that. So I can do my 100 times 800 and divide by the 80. Or I can look at an equation and say that I know that if I take my whole amount times my percent, it should give me my discount. So my whole in this case, we don't know, so we're going to use W, times 80% should equal 800. Well, in this case, 80% we'd have to change to a decimal. Still going to multiply it by W, and it should still give us 800. Well, when I don't know what I'm going to multiply by, we've talked about using fact families to find answers. So I know that if I'm looking for W, what I can do, because I know something times W, or something times 80 hundredths is equal to 800. So what I can do is I can take that 800 and divide it by 80 hundredths, and that will give me my answer of 1,000. Again, this is tricky and it's confusing, and I'm giving you lots of different ways here to look at it, and it's going to take some time for you to get used to it, but I want you to take your time and find a way that works for you. If drawing the model works for you each time, then draw the model. Don't get away from drawing the model entirely, because you're going to have to be able to do that to justify your answer. What I also need from you now is, I know I've only given you one example, but I really want you to try these on your own. So what I want you to do from here on out is I want you to find the answer for sneakers, video games, MP3 player, book, and snack bar. Okay. Try your best, and when you come back, we are going to go over the answers and we'll go over how you got them, but I really want you to try it on your own, get your answers, and if you're struggling, draw your models. Now, you're going to have to use that piece. So here, I used the 20% to help me find the 80%. And then I use the 80% to help me find these other answers. You may have to do that for some of these. Okay. I know that I've kind of given you a lot here and that I'm sending you out on your own, but you have to try these and find your own understanding of them in order to be able to work with them. But rest assured, we'll go over it and you'll be able to ask plenty of questions and you'll be able to get lots of practice on this as we move forward. Right, so make sure to write down any questions that you have, show your work, draw your models when necessary, and we'll go over it when you come back to class.